Hey, what's up, everybody? It is another 9 minutes with Mike Lindsley episode. Really appreciate you tuning in as a part of the ML Sports Platter. It's on IGTV, YouTube, and Facebook. Make sure you share, leave some feedback, leave some comments, trying to grow this thing collectively. You can also download my podcast. It's called the ML Sports Platter, of course, on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play Music. Yesterday, I had Buffalo News' Mike Harrington on to talk about the Sabres draft, Rasmus Dahlin, the Blue Jays rehaul, or overhaul, I should say, Major League Baseball second half, and a heck of a lot more. We are brought to you today by Brian Conboy of Mass Mutual New York State. Tax-efficient investment and retirement planning. Go with Brian Conboy of Mass Mutual like I did. Open our eyes to a bunch of new creative ways to save money for tomorrow for your retirement. Go with Brian Conboy of Mass Mutual, New York State. I want to get into Bryce Harper. He just won the home run derby last night. Here's a guy who I think in the second half, it's going to go one way or the other with this guy. I just don't see a middle ground with him. I see him having another struggle in the second half, or I see him having an explosive second half and helping the Washington Nationals into the playoffs. I think this team's got a ton of firepower, a ton of talent. But again, something always seems to happen to the Washington Nationals. By the way, can you believe that this is the 7th year that Bryce Harper has been in the big leagues? Well, believe it, because remember when he came in to Major League Baseball, he was just a youngin'. Now he's a 7-year vet, it seems like, who already has won a Rookie of the Year and an MVP and is building certainly a Hall of Fame caliber resume. Bottom line with Bryce Harper, had a really rough first half. We know about the low batting average. It's been pointed out by many outlets, including MLB Network, ESPN, and the like. 214 on the batting average, of course, but the sabermetric analytic geekhead who went to MIT for grad school and all the rest, which is somewhere I could never get in, that person's going, whoa, man, take a quick time out on Bryce Harper. It's not just about batting average, people. It's about home runs. It's about the RBI total. Well, guess what? Bryce Harper has those numbers. 23 homers and 54 RBI. He's on pace, if you double that, to go for about 45, 46 home runs and over 100 RBI. That's a pretty darn good season. It might be a little down even for an MVP candidate like Bryce Harper, but in this particular case, they're still pretty good numbers. Then you take a look at all the other numbers. He's walked 78 times. His slugging is down a little bit at 468, OBP down at 365, OPS down a little bit at 833. He's got 70 hits. That's down a little bit as well. And then that, of course, is in conjunction with a batting average. That's a swing for the fences or not type of approach. The reality is, folks, if the Washington Nationals are going to ever break through in the playoffs, if they are ever going to make the postseason and get into of course, an October deep run, which they have yet to do because of their past postseason failures. Maybe it's in their mind a little bit or whatever. The reality is if they're going to do that, they need Bryce Harper to perform. If the Nationals can get healthy and if Bryce Harper can become the guy that everybody knows on that baseball field, how capable he is of carrying a team. 2 home runs, a double, and a few stolen bases a night. And a couple of games, they get going. People get healthy. Steven Strasburg goes out and pitches well. They perform offensively for Max Scherzer. The bullpen goes out and has a couple of really good outings. The Nationals could get on a little bit of a run here, but they've got to have Bryce Harper in order to do that. Now, having said that, I want to turn the tables a little bit into 2019. Our video, by the way, is brought to you by Bryant and Stratton College. Make sure you head to Bryant and Stratton College for their upcoming open house on August 1st at both James Street and North Campus in Liverpool, and begin your career with Bryant and Stratton. That's August 1st. Bryant and Stratton College. You can visit them online in terms of their athletic page at bscbobcats.com. That's August 1st from 4 to 7 in the central New York area. So definitely come in from out of town for that as well. Next year, obviously, Bryce Harper is a free agent at the end of 2018, and there's a lot of speculation that Bryce Harper will not be returning to the Washington Nationals. I've heard several podcasts over this past week. I've talked to a plethora of baseball people myself. And there's people who think he really does like Washington, that he wants to finish the job there, that he would sign another 4 or 5 year deal for maybe right around $300 million. That's a lot of money. I get it. Somebody's saying to yourself, well, hang on. 300, but maybe 2 years on the back end for a team option or team control, whatever the case may be. Maybe not that much money. That'd be like $70 million a year. But you get the point. 4 or 5 years, maybe around 200 a year, 5 years, 210. I could see some of those deals taking place. I don't think he's going to get paid 400 million, 350, 300. I don't know. People are staying away from the 10-year deals, and he's had a bad year this year. Not that that means that he's going to have bad years in the next 4 or 5 years, but the common misnomer about Bryce Harper, if he does leave Washington, is that their window of winning is closed. I don't think there could be something that's further from the truth. And here's why. This is sports, right? Gordon Hayward goes down. Kyrie Irving goes down. The Boston Celtics almost go to the NBA Finals with the likes of Tatum and Brown and terrific guys, terrific players, Rozier, all these different players, and the magician as a head coach in Brad Stevens. There is no way that you can say that the Nationals window is shut and done if Bryce Harper doesn't return to the Washington Nationals. They still have Juan Soto. They have power pitching. They seem to have figured out maybe some weaponry between the left side and the right side out of the bullpen. They've got major speed and a complement player at a position that is premium and shortstop and Trey Turner. You've got guys like Anthony Rendon who you can sign and kind of piece that thing together. They obviously have a different farm system situation going on relationship-wise as they break away from the Syracuse Chiefs after 2018. We'll see how that plays into the Nationals and how good their farm system can be. But folks, this is sports. Sometimes you win without your best player. The players come back and it's just a different year where there's a lot of other factors involved and you just happen to have a better team, but you don't go as far. I've always used this example. The Syracuse basketball team once had Sherman Douglas, Billy Owens, and Derek Coleman. You know how many Final Fours they made? Bingo, this many. Sherman and Derek made one in 1987, lost on the stupid Keith Smart jump shot if you're a Syracuse fan to Indiana. Still puking and crying over that when I was 8 years old. I cried, yes, that was the first sporting event that I cried after. But the reality of the situation is they didn't make a Final Four. Billy Owens, unbelievable player. He was almost a LeBron James before LeBron James. Sherman Douglas, one of the great point guards in college hoops history. And then Derek Coleman, the number one pick in the 1990 NBA draft. They did not make a Final Four, but then yet the 1996 Syracuse team made a Final Four. The 2012-13 Syracuse team that couldn't score for 2 months made a freaking Final Four. So the point is, don't close the window on the Washington Nationals' chances at winning. You never know. You might get rid of Bryce Harper. Something else might come about. You might go out and sign another free agent. Look, I don't think Bryce Harper is bad for a clubhouse. I think everybody, that's way overblown because of the hair situation, the headband he wore at the home run derby. He's got an attitude, clown question, bro, all that sort of shit that you hear about with Bryce Harper. He's got a little edge to him. He's cocky. He's prickly towards the media. He's got this major attitude. Get off my lawn, man. Like, let's use get off my lawn in an opposite way. Let's use it in a millennial way, in a young way. Okay, get out of here with that stuff. People love Bryce Harper. People love playing with him. And I think he's the most recognizable baseball player out there. I think if he goes to a major market, that might solidify baseball. It might help him promote the game. I think if he could stay on the East Coast, it would be a big, big thing just because of the growth of the game and the growth of Harper and all the rest. Look, I think the guy's an amazing player. If the Washington Nationals are going to do anything this year in terms of making the playoffs, making a run, I think they need Bryce Harper. I'm a big believer in Bryce Harper. I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer one day. If he can stay healthy, he's already won an MVP. He's already won a Rookie of the Year. I'm a big Bryce Harper fan, and I hope he has a monstrous second half in helping the Washington Nationals. I'm Mike Lindsley. We are brought to you today by the Phoenix Sports Restaurant. Make sure you go place your bets at the Phoenix Sports Restaurant during the week. They've got all-you-can-eat steak deals, boneless wings deals, spaghetti meatball deals. Go there, bet during the Saratoga races this summer. 6 days a week, no Tuesday because it's Dark Tuesday, no races in Saratoga. You can go there, watch the steak races, open up your book, bet on your phone, do the whole thing. Phoenix Sports Restaurant. Also, a tip of the cap to Matt Graham from State Farm. Make sure you get a free rate quote today from Matt Graham. We're also brought to you by Welch & Company Jewelers, Timberbanks Golf Club, and Brian Conboy of Mass Mutual, New York State. Hit me on Twitter at Mike L. Sports. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.